And just like that, another week gone by, and now, once again, you are tuned into another installment of Monday Night Live, also known as the Hangout Stream, aka Chill Stream, baby. Brought to you by yours truly, the man, broadcasting from behind the curtain. You know who I am. Because if you don't know by now, you can visit www.livefreeliverich.com. Or there's another option. Simply Google this name and you can find out. Now, for those of you who already know, welcome to the show. Go ahead, drop me a comment, say hello. There's no need to be shy. I just like to know who took the time to stop by. And for the rest of you who don't know, that's okay too, because perhaps you're new. I'm just going to go ahead. I'll break it down for you. It goes like this. As far as I'm concerned, this is your show, and I'm just here to fulfill the role of producer, because I know that, not every creator and artist is willing to step outside of their comfort zone, or perhaps they just don't have the time. So what I do is I come on here 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's 6 p.m. Pacific, every Monday night, and I load up this live stream so we all can come together, readers and writers alike. And you guys supply me with things to talk about. And in return, I fulfill my role as producer and try to raise awareness for various projects from around the underground scene. And together, not only do we discover what's going down within the realm of independent publishing, you guys get to learn a little bit about me in the process, and I can use this as an opportunity to become acquainted with those of you who are actively engaged in the creative sphere. No matter what role you play, whether it be publisher, author, writer, critic, content creator, or just a casual reader. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and slide right into my first segment of the night, where I like to shine a spotlight on some books currently available or coming soon to the marketplace. So this first one comes from Twitter. It's from Calum Pritchard Stewart. He says, "Hello there. I hope you're having a nice day. Here's a link to my Amazon author page where I have 3 novels available." And he shares the link. He says, and here's my his Instagram, where he also posts his art. All right. And since there's 3 books, I'll just I just picked one of them to do for this show, but Calum is more than welcome to request another book and for a later date on the live stream. And I chose Nightfish by Calum Pritchard Stewart. Let's see what this one's about. All right, so the blurb says, Flo, Mo, and Joe are living the best lives they can imagine for themselves, living with the choices they've made for themselves in an isolated, run-down old house deep in a damp, dark forest. Most nights, things go by just fine for all three of them. They're free to indulge themselves in whatever limited way they can manage all alone out in the woods like that. There's plenty of peace and quiet, and they can just be themselves. Most of the time, that's just fine. Sometimes it's even fun. And then one night, one of them pushes it too far. There's always that one. One of them makes a terrible mistake, and suddenly their safety, their life of quiet indolence, is under threat. They each have choices to make, and the three friends will all be forced to confront what truly matters to them, what they owe themselves, and what they owe each other. It all starts with a late night fishing trip. Night Fish by Calum Pritchard Stewart. This one comes in at 323 pages. No specific category, at least on Amazon. Sounds kind of like, if I had to just guess from the blurb alone, kind of sounds like literary fiction to me. Calum sees this. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from it. If you guys have a book currently on the marketplace or coming soon to the marketplace, you are more than welcome to share a link. You can either share the link directly on this video or wherever I post on social media, or you can just message me. Just message me the title of the book and the pen name of the author. All I ask is that you please only request, a shout out for your work and nobody else's. You get the next one up here. All right. Another one from Twitter. From Andrew F. Balog. A thriller. He says, a thriller about a famous writer who's captured by a harrowing of darkness and now trapped in a world that resembles his unfinished book. Oh, interesting. In order to escape, he must finish this manuscript and write his way out before that darkness consumes him entirely. That's a familiar sounding, I don't know if that would be called a trope or a plot, like a plot cliche. Well, it's a trope. I guess that would be considered a trope. It's not really a cliche. Cliche would say that it's, they both say that it happens often, but it's not a cliche. Anyways, this one is simply called Solitude. And as far as I know, this is actually a comic book, Solitude issue 1 by Andrew Balog. So let's read the blurb on that one. So it just says, Solitude is a comic book series created by filmmaker Andrew F. Balog. The story is a psychological thriller which follows famous writer Ben Williamson, who is captured by a harrowing of darkness and thrusted into a world that resembles the one in his unfinished book, like I read in the tweet. And then it goes on to say the rest. He's trapped in that hell, and in order for him to get out, he needs to write his way out, before the darkness that captured him consumes him entirely. So it sounds like a very meta type of comic book, or a comic book that would be full of meta. The comic book is based off a TV show of the same name. Really? Solitude. TV show named Solitude. The comic book is 42 pages. And let me see. All right. I'll actually open this up so you can see a little bit. We'll close that. Yeah, remove that. There we go. And you see that there? Let's move that for a second. So it's interesting because it's in Kindle format, but it's a comic book, which is exactly what I thought that what you were capable of doing in Kindle. And as you can see, it's in color as well. I knew it would be possible to do that. I mean, you can do it. You can essentially just format a comic book as a Word document, and then just upload it and have your comic book on Kindle. However, I was quite intrigued by last week's comic book, and the way that was set up, where you could just have it on the screen, looking at it as if you were just had an open comic book right in front of you and flipping through the pages. All right, this next one comes from Sarah Beth James, aka Lucinda Greyhaven. It's a very goth name, if I don't say so myself. Just a lot of hashtags, and she had a link directly to her book. Just check that one out. This is Jotunheim's Queen from the Frozen Heart series. This is book 1 from the Frozen Heart series by Lucinda Greyhaven. And this is actually a pre-order book. This is on pre-order. This is set to be released about a month from now, July 22nd, 2022. Let's see what this one's about. We got, when I was a child, I had an imaginary friend called Luke. He taught me magic and kept me safe from the dark things. When I was 16, my mother sent me to a hospital to convince me that Luke was not real. 10 years later, Luke came back for me, dragging me to Jotunheim, where he could protect me. His name was not Luke at all. It was Loki, king of Asgard, Lord of Chaos, World Walker, Lie Smith, God of Mischief, or as I used to call him, God of being naughty. I was 7 at the time. Ew. Uh-oh. He plans to make me his queen. I just want to go home. Okay. So we have 172 pages of dark fantasy horror. Also under romantic fantasy. I don't know how much romance is involved there. Dark fantasy, interesting. Is it all in her head? It doesn't say the character's the protagonist, the main character's name in the book. That's interesting. First person blurb too. Edgy. All right, one more book for tonight. As far as the marketplace goes, well, actually we'll have another one as well. We'll do 5 tonight. All right, another one from Twitter. This one comes from Martin Z. William. Martin writes, in a thrilling and educational fantasy journey through the early 1600s, a young man learns the beauty of traditional blacksmithing while beginning to understand the importance of art in this war-torn world. More here. We'll check that one out. This one is simply titled Smith by Martin Z. William. Oh, shit. Smith. It'll look like that right now. There we go. That looks better. All right. Let's see what the blurb has to say. I think it's the same. I think it's pretty much the same, but we'll read it. Early 1600s, a young man is placed in a life-threatening situation that initiates a journey to find his true value in this world. After being rescued by a village blacksmith, he is faced with a proposition, an apprenticeship to learn a new trade and maybe even more about life. Will he be reforged to endure the hardships that lie ahead, or will he fall victim to his self-doubt? I like that. That's a snappy little blurb right there. I like that. Will he be reforged? This one comes in at 195 pages, fantasy adventure fiction. So a short fantasy adventure fiction. Looks like it is a standalone. I'm actually inclined to add that one to the list. Add that one to the old TBR. I like that. I like the sound of that one. We'll give that one a shot. All right. So now, now we'll slide into the next segment of the show, where I talk about I make various announcements, talk about projects that you guys may have coming up. And so for instance, some things that you may want me to bring up on the live stream would be like if you are a small press, indie publisher, or you're running a blog, you're looking to collaborate with other writers and creators. So if you have like submission calls, I'll get more on that a little bit later. Or whether you are a reader and you're on Booktube, you run a Booktube channel, and you have an event that you're announcing, whether it be like a readathon or a read-along event, or like a buddy read type of deal. Like you got a book coming up and, you're looking for do like a buddy read thing. I could announce something like that. Or if you have a video where you're announcing it, I could play that on the live stream as well. Share your channel that way. Also, if you have another way of utilizing this segment of the show would be like if you have a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo project that you're looking like you're doing a fundraiser for your own independent project, whether it be a book, a comic book. We've had a comic book on the show before from Indiegogo. Those type of things. And it could also be, it doesn't have to be just strictly about books or comic books too. Like if you're, say a screenwriter and you're trying to fund, say an independent film or something like that, because I am thinking about beginning to expand into the realm of independent film and making some connections, not me producing the films myself, but maybe getting in connection with other artists and creators out there who are involved in independent film and maybe bringing some stories to, to the screen, so to speak. But tonight we have, let's see, there's just a few announcements I want to talk about tonight. First things first, let's get this give a little shout out to this gentleman here. Comes from Twitter. Comes from Twitter. He says, this is coming from Aaron Beardcell, Mr. Beardcell, if you will. He says, if you like horror, you can get my sci-fi story Dead Station for free for the next 4 days only. Wah, 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 wah. Unfortunately, that has already expired. But that's why what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and bring up the book. Okay. It says, he goes on to say, a group of starving miners break into an abandoned space station, and it doesn't go well for them. That's how he leaves the tweet. Oops. Beardcell. So this one is Dead Station. There's no wondering about the genre, clearly. It's in the title. Science fiction horror. And by Aaron Beardsell. There's the cover. And here's the blurb. Colonies are going dark at the edge of the solar system. These are the dead stations. Rika and his crew want one thing: to get paid. So when the company sends them to harvest asteroids, he doesn't ask questions. It's a simple job. Just ignore the symbols on the walls. Don't talk to the voices and get home fast. There's just one problem. The nearest resupply base has gone dark. No radio transmissions, no emergency beacon, and no crew. It's a dead station. Without the supplies Rika needs from Station 86, they'll never make it back to Luna. They just have to break into the station, grab the supplies, and get out. Too bad something else lives on the haunted Station 86 now. Something ancient, monstrous, and hungry. Will Rika and his crew survive the cosmic horror and live to see another paycheck? It's a hard knock life. And then if you go on, there'll be a link to the book. You can actually see there's actually quite a bit of praise here. There's quite a bit of praise here for Aaron Beardsell. We got several quotes from various sources talking about his piece of work here. The print length on this one is 72 pages, so novella length. Yeah, this was a sci-fi horror. Also under post-apocalyptic science fiction. Roughly about a 2-hour read, give or take. Stuck in space, man. No, thank you. Keep my feet firmly planted on Earth. Thank you very much. However, I am fascinated by cosmic horror. I do find it fascinating. So a couple more let's do some housekeeping, a little bit of housekeeping announcements, just a couple quick ones here. I would like everyone to know, all creators, writers, the Live Free, Live Rich network is now on Discord. Link to the Discord in the description down below. I would like you guys to join the Discord. Not necessarily, I imagine if you're a creator or you're an artist, you're already involved in several Discord servers already, especially if you're on Booktube. But the thing about it is, what I'm trying to do with this Discord is just be an outlet where, how you can share your content on other Discord servers and stuff like that. And it's just kind of like, it's just kind of a thing where you drop your link or whatever. And that's about it. It's there. And, maybe people see it, maybe people don't. But that is kind of like the focus of this Discord. So for me, it's another outlet. So it's like, if you guys miss a live stream, or you can always catch it on the replay. Some people call it the video on demand. You could watch it that way. You can leave a comment. But the thing about it is, I don't always trust YouTube or I don't really trust any social media platform for that matter to actually notify me
when I get comments or when people are trying to reach me in terms of my any type of comment sections or anything like that, or in messages. Like, for instance, on Twitter won't even notify me when I get a direct message. I have to like manually check my inbox and then see if somebody is requesting to send me a message. I don't know what the deal is with that. And sometimes I don't always get all my notifications either. So the Discord is just kind of like a one-stop shop. If you don't have a Twitter, you can be on the Discord and you won't miss anything that I share. Anything that I share on Twitter as far as what's going on with my projects, the links are also on the Discord. But furthermore, it's an outlet for the creators, for you guys, for the writers, creators, whatever role you play. In other words, is the title of this live stream, role playing. We're heading into the brave new world. We're going through the cultural shift, and there's many different roles in which you guys can play to get involved in this, dare I say, game. But with that being said, the Discord offers an outlet for you guys to just go on there and share content that you would like me to mention during the live stream. And that's just another place. So if you miss a post on Twitter, you're not following me on Twitter, you don't have a Twitter, or you're not on Facebook or any other social media where I may post, or you're not always catch the live stream during the live stream, you can just do it on the Discord. So just make it very easy. So just go ahead, click the link down below, join the Discord, and I won't expect anything of you. So that's as far as that goes. Just join the Discord, and then when you have something to share on the Discord, there's a spot for you to do that, whether it be a video, you can share your video, share a book, share submission calls. If you have, like, say you're working on an anthology project or something like that, you're looking for writers and you want me to mention these things on the live stream, that can be a spot where you can do that. Moving on, talking about submission calls. There is an open submission call for the Storytellers Society. It's a project that I launched in coordination with Live Free, Live Rich Entertainment, where you guys, if you're looking to get some extra recognition for your work, what you can do is you can submit a piece. I'm looking for stories, flash fiction specifically. They could be vignettes as well, but around pieces that are no less than 500 words. So it could be as short as 500 words, but and no longer than 2,000 words to publish for the Storytellers Society. And when you submit, it goes through a process. It gets processed, and if you're approved, then you will effectively book yourself a room at the Hotel del SS, what I'm calling it. And that's where you're going to have your own room on that, where you have your own page that lists out all your contributions to the Storytellers Society. And as of right now, it's just you. It's completely free. There's no fees involved or anything crazy like that. It's literally just simply a collaboration project, a voluntary collaborative project between my brand and you to collaborate and network. And you guys share a piece for me to publish. Submit a piece to be published, and then I'll handle all the marketing after that. And you can have links. You can have your own, share a bio with links to your websites, your books, what have you. And I'm trying to do this as part of my New Year's resolution, was to try and connect with more creative individuals. Now, this channel of mine is kind of a mixture between Booktube and what people would call Booktube, and also Authortube. However, I'm starting to lean more towards, the Authortube side of things, because I focus mostly on indie. So I'm not going to really connect with a lot of people on Booktube unless they're reading my stuff, which is available. Always, they can, if you read any of my work, you feature any of my work on your channel, then obviously I'm going to recognize that, and I have ways that I can acknowledge that as well. But as far as Authortube goes, I'm trying to connect with more like-minded creators and see if we can kind of build some synergy here, and get the ball rolling here. And it only makes, because I know that marketing is a pain in the ass. It really is. Marketing really, truly is a pain in the ass. There's a lot of questionable practices going on out there, and I don't need to bring that stuff here on the live stream. It's unnecessary, really. But what I'm trying to do is create a positive kind of outlet that's actually going to appreciate the independent market. Independent market kind of works differently from mainstream publishing. So with independent marketing, it's very much a community-based thing. So like if you're involved in indie, you're a self-pubbed author, you're a small indie press, small press company, then you understand what I'm talking about. You have to actually be willing to do the footwork and get involved and do the work and commingle and with other creators, and you get to know each other and you're becoming engaged. It's not so much a thing where it's like, yeah, you could have fans of your work. There are going to be people who are, like casual readers and stuff like that, and they're very much involved in the scene. Because the thing about indie, I'll tell you right now, indie, if you're pretty much disgusted, or you're turned off by like the recycled bullshit that gets put out by the mainstream, then you go indie. Because indie, I'll tell you right now, is where you actually find some of the most creative ideas, because indie is very much about the art form. A lot of indie artists they're just passionate about the craft. It's not, in other words, it's not like a money-making scheme of some sort. And it's not like or seen as like an investment, like with the mainstream. Oh, they gotta, they're taking a risk on this project, and they got to make their money back in the box office, or they're, the big press is taking a risk by signing on this debut author, which they're doing less and less of nowadays. I've heard through the grapevine that big name publishers, the big 5 publishers, now require people. It's all, I don't know if it's standard practice. I'm not involved in it. Have no plans to ever become involved in it. By the way, I'm building my own thing. But I've heard that with big publishers, it's like they'll look at your social media now. So if like you don't have a certain level of following, a certain amount of followers or engagement or anything like that, they might not even like give you the time of day. So it doesn't matter. Like you could be querying till you're blue in the face. You could have 1,000 rejections. Okay. Now imagine how much time you just fucking blew querying all these like uppity gatekeepers, when you could have been spending that time actually being productive and just doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're moving past all that. I seriously, I believe this. We're moving past the point where there's going to be a need for gatekeepers. Yes, money, people will do it because it's money, but it's going to be a hybrid thing. But there's money the money is out there. Okay. It's just a matter of getting involved, because it's a cultural, it's tied to the culture. It's not just strictly an economic thing. Oh, how much money is in the market? How much money is in the market? Well, I'll tell you what, focus on building up a culture and the money will come in. The money will naturally become, the money will come from outside and then become involved in the market if that is the culture. That is like the status quo, if you will. The status quo is no longer waiting, for Hollywood to announce the next big thing. No, it's you actively engaged and involved in the underground scene, in the independent community. All right, off my soapbox. But this is the stuff that I'm passionate about. And I just feel like I get frustrated sometimes. Well, not necessarily frustrated, but a little bit discouraged, like others who you're not necessarily seeing the results that you want, but it's like, dude, you gotta be in it for the long game. You gotta be in it because you want to be in it. This is not a business thing where it's like you're just going to keep pumping out books, like they're, it's just, you're just a salesman selling products. You could do that. You could write to market and just have a bunch of products. But I'm just saying that's not necessarily building a culture, though. That's different than building a culture. And I feel like if you were focused more on building a culture and getting involved with each other, not just focused on what it is that we're doing as individual artists in the scene, but actually like engaging with other artists in the scene. You see what I'm saying? And it builds a synergy, and that synergy creates the culture. And then people, and that energy will ripple out, and normies and people that are like, they're slow to the show, so to speak. They'll catch the vapors and they'll want to see what it's all about, and they'll begin to get involved. And in terms of a business standpoint, you want to try and position yourself where you are already involved in the community, and you're organized, and you're part of the creative sphere, and you're connected. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create these outlets where other artists that may be uncomfortable to step outside of your comfort zone, have these outlets where you can become connected in the scene. So that's what this, that's partly another reason why I started this live stream. So now I want to get into the second to last segment, where I read some pieces shared by you guys. This is where if you run your own blog, you have some flash fiction, some poetry, some essays, I will just send me a link, and I'll check it out and read it on the live stream if it makes sense on the show. And this one is called The Greats. It's a sonnet, and it's by K, the writer, aka K, the poet lover. That's their handle on Twitter. That's why I put that. Let's see what we got. All right. From K the writer, aka K the poet lover, he says, for more poetry, check out my books on Amazon. He has a link. What I'll do is I'll I'll share his in the description. I'll share his Twitter and I'll share his Amazon page. Let's make it easy on you. So let's blow that up and see how that goes. Okay. The Greats, a sonnet. Says Angelo, Shakespeare, Dickens, Hughes, just to name a few, are all poets in their own way. They have poems that can be read for days and days. Poems that stack so high they could fill the sky. Incessant words that never die. Words that make readers today say, oh my. These are poets whom I've read before, and I will continue to read forevermore. I'm a poet myself, if you can tell. For me, writing poetry is swell. One day, my poetry will get high remarks because, like the greats, it will touch readers' hearts. That is by K the Writer, aka K the Poet Lover. All right, that was a short one. I'm going to read another one. And this one made me think another idea here. Well, this writer gave me the idea is also editorials. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but if you guys write editorials, depending on depending on what the topic is, but if it's on, like, say, a book, it could even be a famous published works, but the editorial itself is written by you, and you sharing your opinions about said, whatever the work is. I'd be willing to read that too. I think that would be interesting, actually, to get your take. She says, this comes from Sashi. I think that's how you pronounce it, Sashi. She says, hi. And she says, here's my blog, Sashi Reads. And this work is called The Divine Matrix via SashiReads.com. Let's check it out. Her blog, entitled Sashi Reads Daily, an avid reader, if you will. All right. See how that looks. All right. That looks fine. That looks fine. So apparently this is an editorial on a book entitled The Divine Matrix by Greg Braden. Never heard of it. But let's see what she has to say. Maybe she shares a little bit of information about it. It says, I have always wondered about our place and purpose on this earth and why certain people seem to be able to make things happen with more ease than others. I have also heard the term, we are all connected, more times than I can count. Ditto. But what does that mean? What Greg Braden has done in The Divine Matrix is answered these questions for me. And he has done so by including scientific experiments as well as real life experiences. Okay. Answered the questions for me. Greg divided the book into 3 parts. Here are a few things I learned from each of them. The Divine Matrix exists. Greg Braden defines the Divine Matrix as 1. The container that holds the universe. 2. The bridge between all things. And 3. The mirror that shows us what we have created. Okay. We are all connected through waves and particles of energy that seem to break the laws of time and space as we have known them. Several scientific experiments have shown that the atoms of everything in nature and the DNA of our bodies seem to share information faster than the speed of light. But what is important is how this information is shared. There's a field of energy that connects everything. We are all connected to each other, the world, and the entire universe. The scientific experiments presented in the book are too long to explain here, but please check them out for yourself. The evidence can't be denied. Well, I'll have to just take your word for that one. How the Divine Matrix works. All right, this could be interesting. We can communicate with the Divine Matrix through our feelings, through our feels, emotions, prayers, and beliefs from moment to moment. Okay, so definitely getting the a little bit of the secret vibes here. The what is it? The law of attraction. The law of attraction. I love the computer analogy to explain how this works. Our feelings, emotions, prayers, and beliefs are like the applications that are uploaded to the operating system, the consciousness, and tell the hardware, the Divine Matrix, what to do. I agree with that notion to a degree. Because I do believe that manifestation is an actual thing, but the idea of manifestation often gets bastardized by different type of like new agey type fields of thought. And it doesn't, and it goes, you know, it just it muddles the actual meaning of what it it muddles the actual like purpose of what it means to manifest something, to bring something, in other words, to bring something into existence, which has more to do. It has more, I'll say right now, based on what's going on with this piece of work, I would say that's what it's alluding to is manifestation, which actually, I believe, has more to do with intent than it does feelings and emotions and prayers. Beliefs, sure, beliefs play a role. In terms of feelings and emotions and prayers, however, that also plays a role, but it's more of an indirect role. And I won't get into the whole deal of it right now, but I'm just saying, like, I'm hearing what's being said right now, but I'm just saying it's not it's not the whole, you're not getting the whole story, but she did mention that this isn't that she's not going into detail about it. But don't let this oversimplification fool you. There is much work to be done to properly communicate with the divine matrix and alter your reality. Okay? I think we are participants in what we experience rather than mere observers. Yes, there are observers, and then there are people who just simply observe and react, and then there are people who act. It's all about what we focus on. Okay, which that is actually part of the law of attraction. People think people have a misunderstanding of what the law of attraction actually is. The law of attraction isn't you sitting Indian style on some Persian rug, and meditating whatever it is you want in life in order to manifest it into reality. That's not how it works. You can do that all day long if you want. Go right ahead. Maybe it'll be a relaxing experience for you. But what I would suggest is don't hold your breath. Okay. It's a little bit there's actual work. There's a process to it. And yeah, you gotta kind of be initiated in that sense to understand what the hell I'm referring to. But I digress. We received messages from the divine matrix. Greg Braden explains that what we believe is often reflected back to us through our relationships. He calls these reflections mirrors, and there are 5 types. 1, reflections of the moment. 2, reflections of what we judge in the moment. 3, reflections of what we've lost, given away, or had taken from us. 4, reflections of our dark night of the soul. And 5, reflections of our greatest act of compassion. These mirrors are subtle or not so subtle messages from the divine matrix, showing us what needs healing. The things that need healing come from one of the 3 universal, meaning everyone experiences it, fears. So coming from the 3 universal fears. One fear would be the fear of separation and abandonment, which most of us can relate to if we ever feel that we are alone. Another universal fear is low self-worth. This is the feeling of never being good enough, even though we all are always enough. Sometimes the imaginary values we place on ourselves can keep us from pursuing our dreams, hopes, and aspirations of achieving greater things in life. That I agree with. To a certain extent. People being afraid of judgment and that sort of stuff. Things we've all heard about. It doesn't take away from the discomfort. You still have to do the work, and you have to be able to do the work and the internal work in order for you to feel comfortable enough to overcome that fear, which takes time. It's not something I'm not saying that it's something that you can just wave a magic wand and it just happens overnight. But she goes on, she says, the 3rd type of universal fear is surrendering and trust. So Greg explains that our sense of safety must come from the security we feel inside. We need to trust and have faith in the intelligence of the universe. I thought the intelligence of those around us. Well, I wouldn't go that far. This is a lot of information that will probably need some further self-study, but I'm so glad that I finally read this book and started my journey to healing. And that was Sashi's editorial on The Divine Matrix by Greg Braden. Actually, I thought that was quite interesting. I like that. So if you guys want to write some editorials and share those with me, I'll look them up and I can read those and share my 2 cents on them. If you guys join me during the live stream, you're always welcome. You can just come on here, hang out. You don't have to request anything. You don't have to mention any of your own work. If you just want to come on here, chill with me for about an hour or so while I talk about these things, and you're more than welcome. You're just as much a part of a show. I consider you just as much a part of the show. In fact, that's what I would encourage more people to do. Not just for the sake of engagement on my YouTube channel. That's a bonus for me. But like I say, I want to genuinely become more acquainted with my peer group. And those of you who are involved in the creative sphere. Now, the last segment of the show for tonight is where I watch some video. And video could be anything from story reading, storytelling, a video of you reading some poetry. It could be an episode of a web series that you produce. Or in tonight's instance, it could be a book trailer. All right, where is it? There we go. And tonight's book trailer is a request from Twitter. Comes from a user by the name of CWC Trilogy. And he says, well, actually, it has to do with his book coming out soon, Camp Wolf Creek. It's a trailer from Sean Spencer via his YouTube channel, Shaddy Reactions. And he writes from Twitter, this is the first half of the trailer. Well, I'm watching on YouTube, so we're going to see the full trailer here. He says, shout out to my daughter who worked really hard on this trailer with me. A year later, and I'm finally done. Feel free to leave a like, comment, retweet, whatever you'd like. All right, so let's check out this trailer that Sean worked on with his daughter. All right. Says, official book trailer, rated R for really badass. What's that say? Wild. We'll just play it. We'll play it and then I'll react to it. The audio's intense. Spencer Entertainment. Spencer Entertainment presents.
Every fall has a story. Ours began at Camp Wolf Creek.
This retreat will be one they'll never forget. A weekend full of activities for the students
It was so
of
fun.
Oak Middle School.
Until I heard the voices. It led me to a book.
One little girl made a grave
But it
mistake.
was more than just a book. I'm Emma Moon. Locked inside the wordless book is a place far more wicked than you can imagine. And Wicked found a new home. And out of the book rose these creatures. The Fire Reaper, the Wind Reaper, the Water Reaper, the Electric Reaper,
The Electric Reaper.
and their leader, the Death Reaper.
The Death Reaper.
The town of Grim Hollow is under chaos. They're after me because I have something they want. Give me the book! I found a place they'll never find me.
This dark fantasy novel is action-packed to the very end.
Our road is in danger. We have to get rid of them before things get worse.
Look at the book. The time has come. The Archangels of the Imperial Stars. In the book, a ram will consume this world. The dead will rise and the living will fall. For we are the Reapers.
Wild, outlandish, and gory. Camp Wolf Creek promises a thrill of a summer slasher. And that's from Kristen Corrects. Gory? I thought this involved middle schoolers. At first I thought this was like a middle grade type of book. I guess not. I don't know. I'll leave a...
The virtue of our world to be passion.
Apparently coming fall 2023. I got some time to wait. Fall 2023, huh? Now that is Camp Wolf Creek, a trailer for Camp Wolf Creek. I like it. It sounds interesting. Got all these different reapers going on there. And I think that's cool that he made that book trailer with his daughter. I bet they had fun doing that. All right, guys. That's it for me this week. Like I say, you got videos, you got blog posts you want to share, you got a book coming out on the market that you'd like to share, even if it's a year in the making. You can go ahead, leave a link, join the Discord. The Discord is linked down below. Very one-stop shop, easy access for sharing all your content with me so that I can then give you a mention on the live stream. If you're not following me on social medias. And I will see you guys next week. Cheers.